Aloha preppers, Hawaii Prepper here. It is so important during this now moment for all of us to prepare, to have a fully stocked food pantry on hand. And if you do not have the proper necessary items for you in the event of an emergency, any type of emergency, I would suggest to begin and start stocking up now. There is a lot of things that are going on in our world, not just in our state, but globally. Much food shortages going on across the nation as well as across the globe. Lots of shipping disruptions. Our supply and demand cannot be met. A lot of truckers quitting their jobs. Now, can you see the connection that's going on? Everything is connected here. You have a lot of things occurring during this time, and these are eyebrow raising, hair raising things that are happening. Now, in our state, no one's talking about or showing anything on the news or any type of mainstream media news about what's going on. Instead, the narrative of the CV19 is going on. That's being pushed heavily. Everyone's being conditioned. Everyone's being programmed to look over there and not over there. There's so much going on. You will need to do your homework. You will need to do your own research. You won't see it on your TV channels. They will not show these things to you. They will probably show it to you on the 12th hour when it's too late. So I know what's going on. Now, do you know what's going on? Are you aware of the repercussions that are occurring, of the connections, the domino effects that are occurring right now? It's huge. It's very huge. Inflation is skyrocketing. Prices are going up, and there's no end in sight for that as well. I went to Sam's last week. Now, Sam's Club has implemented limitations on their products. The toilet paper barely had any. It's one per person. And there are a lot of different items across the board in that warehouse store that also have limitations. So do your research, do your homework. I cannot stress this even greater during this time. And this is really important. You may not see anything going on. Everything may look normal to you, but it is far from what you are being told, far from what you are seeing. This is the calm before the storm. So you want to stock up ahead of time before the panic and hoarding begins, like we saw in 2020. That was incredibly insane. But I was stocked up, I was prepared, and all I did was sit back and watch everything unfold. That's the place you want to be at. You do not want to be in that chaotic, mad, panic buying, hoarding buyers. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be in that situation. Look at our gas prices. Our gas prices are going up. That's another indication that a lot of things are going up. They're not going to come down anymore. So this affects everything that we use, not just consuming on food base wise. It's everything, because everything is becoming affected. Shortage of workers, manufacturers, all of their materials are affected. A lot of things are stuck, held up, on the cargo ships that are backed up in the ports, and no one knows when they're going to get those products in. I believe the vice president even spoke about getting your Christmas gifts now, because they're not even sure that you're going to even be able to get any of those toys or whatever it may be when the time rolls around. Now, there's a lot of people that are already aware across our nation. Our state seemingly has their heads in the sand. But do your homework, do your research. I cannot stress that any more greater during this time. Follow the dots and see what is actually occurring and going on in your nation, across your state, as well as globally, because global economics is being hit majorly, and we are headed for massive crisis right now if you aren't aware of it. So hop, skip, and jump to it now. If you haven't prepared, I'm telling you, start preparing now. With all these mandates coming in, what makes you think that they're not going to mandate grocery stores or warehouse stores? And if you are one of those that refuse the jab, you're not going to be able to get nothing in your stores at all. Hence the preparing ahead of time. When the need arises, the time to prepare will have already passed. So get busy. So I have a few things to share with you today. One of them is having cash on hand outside of the bank in the event that there is a power outage and you will not be able to access your bank account, and the ATM machines will be down, and perhaps if and when the stores do open, they will more than likely be accepting cash only, because credit and debit transactions will be impossible without power. So having cash on hand is very vital. Have the cash in smaller denominations, 1s, 5s, 10s, the biggest one perhaps 20, but no larger than that. Having small amounts on hand will help the cashier, because more than likely they won't be able to know how to count money back, and you're going to have to do it for them. The next item would be having a weatherband radio. This one is a crank, also has a flashlight here, and it also has a solar panel on the top, so that you don't need batteries. You can either solar generate the power for this weatherband radio. You can crank it as well to generate the energy and the power for this weatherband radio. And there is also a USB port that you can charge as well. So find yourself some form of radio. And this one is a weatherband, NOAA band weather radio that I have just in case. And we have a lot of sun, so the solar panel comes in great handiness. And this is the USB cord that goes with it. Next item would be communication. Have yourself a two-way radio set, or several, depending on how big your family is, because you want to be able to communicate with them in the event that there is a power outage, and you have these as a backup for communication. Learn how to use them, and have all your family members learn how to use them. So look into finding yourself a set or couple sets of two-way radios here. If you have a ham radio and you know how to use the ham radio, and or a licensed ham radio operator, more better for you. Next item would be a pair of shoes. Always have spares on hand. You know, these are going to be in short supply as well. Everything is going to be in short supply. So you want to cover every single base preparedness wise for you and your family. So having that extra pair of shoes just in case your shoes falls apart and you don't have anything else and you need to bug out or you need to leave your car for some odd reason behind. Get yourself an extra pair of shoes, and don't forget the socks as well. Next would be masks. Get yourself extra masks no matter what. If you can find the 3M masks, and those are top of the line. This is KN95, not too bad, 5-layer. You know, get yourself a couple of masks. If you can get yourself a gas mask, better yet, gas masks are slightly more expensive, but you need to look into it and see which mask you would prefer and like to purchase. But these for now, stock up on these masks, because with all the mandates and everything going on, stock up on masks, gloves, hand sanitizers, anything sanitizing, Clorox, bleach as well. You're going to need all of those things. This one here, your empty plastic bottles, save them, every single one of them, because you can fill them, you can refill them with water. If you do not have enough water bottles or supplies of water on hand, you can always use the empty bottles, reuse them, clean them out, sanitize them, and then reuse them. Use the water out of your faucet. You know, you can refill them, and if you want to purify them, you can use the bleach and the Clorox. You'd have to look into that, do that research, and learn how to do all of those things. So all your empty bottles, these are good for water, you know, to refill with water. Do not use the milk containers. Those aren't good because they have a lingering milk flavor in them, so you don't want to use the milk containers. But all of your containers, empty containers, would be good to use for water. These would be good for potable water, meaning drinkable water that you can drink. You could also use, if you have, you know, the litter container, you can fill that up with water too, but that water you will not drink. You will utilize it for plants, probably cleaning, different things, not drinking. You can also use your detergent for those detergent containers for your clothing. You can refill those and use that to wash your hand. You know, don't rinse it out and rinse it out, because it'll still have that soapy suds in it. It's perfect. You can just wash your hands, use that for washing, and keep it. You know, so you can recycle all of these bottles, and it'll come in handy for you as well. And so stock up on enough food, water, medical supplies, and anything else that you feel that you would need in the event of any type of emergency, whether it is man-made and or natural disaster emergencies. We're still in hurricane season, so it's not a bad idea to amp up your supplies and your stocks. I noticed that, I know that not everyone in our state is fully aware of what's going on, because I can tell by the vast amount of things that are still available in our shops, in our stores. Once everyone catches wind of what's going on, you will see and find the stores becoming more emptier and emptier and emptier. And once SHTF occurs is going to be a repeat of 2020, but this time it's going to be much more worse. So stock up, prepare on all fronts, learn skills, stock up on seeds that you can garden and grow your own food as well. And that is a skill. You might want to practice that now and not when the SHT app. You're going to need that skill and know-how ahead of time. So prepare, prepare, prepare. Have a great day, guys. Aloha.